guys, welcome back. My joy is back. It was missing there for a week or two, but it's back and I'm so excited for the next week. Today is feeling so autumnal. I know I keep saying this, but the weather is amazing today. It is freezing cold. The temperatures have plummeted. Coats are needed. I need to start doing a coat swap over. The sun is shining. I'm in my favorite t-shirt probably ever, which is my Woof t-shirt, which is a reference from Chestnut Springs, specifically Reckless, which honestly I really need to do a reread of because I've done a reread of Heartless, but Reckless is kind of my favorite, I think. I always alternate between the two, but it's a reference from that. And I've got my long line cardigan. If anybody's got any good long line cardigan recommendations, let me know. I'm on the hunt. This one is actually from River Island a few years ago, but it's starting to look a little bit worse for wear, so I need myself another good one. Because it's such a perfect bookish day, I popped out to get myself a chai because an oat chai latte is the ultimate thing to make me feel super autumnal and cozy and just all prepped for a very bookish day and a very bookish weekend. It's actually Friday for me today, and I've got relatively little plans this weekend. Cameron and I are going out for a friend's birthday, but it's like a lunch, and then we're actually going pumpkin picking on Sunday, which I'm so excited about, but that'll be a whole other separate vlog. But apart from that, we don't have anything else planned this weekend, which is so nice. So I'm hoping we're gonna get loads of reading time in. So anyway, I popped out to get myself my oat chai, which I've already been chugging, and it is actually first thing in the morning. So I also got myself some breakfast. I've showed this before, but this is the ultimate autumnal breakfast from Gales, and it's the best thing ever. And it's their apple and blackcurrant overnight oats, which basically has like a blackberry jam, or is it blackcurrant jam? A blackcurrant chia compote and almond butter with some like almond flakes on top and apple bits that are like in the oats. It's so good. It's like cinnamony and delicious and the most autumnal thing ever. So I treated myself to one of those. And then, I know we're not there yet, but look what I got! I got two, one for me and one for Cameron. Little skeleton biscuits. Are they not so cool and so groovy? Anyway, I got Cameron a chai as well, so we can both enjoy the chai and a little cinnamon biscuit whilst we work for the day, which is so lovely. And then I obviously popped into Waterstones, couldn't help myself, just to see if there was anything there. I was actually looking for any books by Kennedy Ryan or A. Valdez, and I was also looking for Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford because I loved it so much and I want the physical copy of it. Didn't have any of those, unfortunately. It feels like the Waterstones that I go to is having a big reorganization, like all the books are not what they normally are, so it was quite hard to find things. Anyway, but I did buy myself one book, and I have finally bought myself Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, which is the first of the Book of Tommen series. I've wanted to read this series for so long now, and I feel like I fully entered since August my sports romance era, my sports contemporary romance era, and this fits right into that. Oh no, people are angry in the car park today. There's a lot of beeping going on behind me, but this is a rugby sports romance series, I believe. Apparently it's quite like heart-wrenching stuff. Anyway, I'm so excited to start reading this series. I just bought the first one. It is so thick. I mean, I said this about Mile High, but I just don't think romances have any business being this long. No, stop it. You've got to be joking me. 800 pages. No. Guys, this is an 800 page book. That's almost as long as Kingdom of Ash in the Throne of Blood. What? I did not even fully realize it was that long. Anyway, we've bought it. I have no idea when I'm gonna get to it. Maybe Christmas time? I know it's not necessarily a Christmassy book, but it is red. Anyway, that is my little haul of goodies to kick off this week's bookish vlog. I'm so excited just to like mood read honestly whatever we feel like reading. We're gonna get home now and pick out a book together from the, I know I don't have like a strict October TBR, but we're gonna pick something out together from the autumnal TBR shelf. I have now been yapping in this car for way too long. There's something about chatting in the car that I just really love. Anyway, I hope you're having a lovely October so far, and let's spend a few very bookish days together. It's gonna be so nice. Right, I'll see you when we get home and we can pick out our book that we're gonna start to read. Hello. My reading over the last 24 hours, 48 hours since I last spoke to you has been completely unhinged. I haven't read that much necessarily, but this is the wildest I have been in how many books I'm consuming. I've currently got 3 books on the go, And 6 months ago, I could not even fathom reading more than one book at once. But here I am. So I've got Ninth House upstairs, which I'm the least amount of the way through that one, if you know what I mean. Like I'm probably only 10% through Ninth House. I'm genuinely enjoying it, but I wasn't really feeling in the mood to read outside of my comfort zone. I'm just really craving the stuff that I love at the moment. So I'm reading it, but I'm kind of dipping in and out of it, but I genuinely think it's good. So that is not a detriment to the book. I think I'll really enjoy it when I fully get into it. Normally by this time in October, I'm into watching scary movies and watching thrillers, and I enjoy that kind of like feeling scared or feeling creeped out emotion, because pretty much for the other 11 and a half months of the year, I just don't enjoy that feeling. I'm just not a horror movie person. But usually I do genuinely enjoy feeling a bit spooky halfway through October anyway. I'm just not feeling that way this year. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, so I'm reading Ninth House. I'm about 10% of the way through, enjoying it. We'll see how we go. I don't really have enough to review for that yet. I am also reading Wild Eyes. It's bright orange, so it feels right to be reading in October. I am probably also only about 10% of the way through this one, but I can already tell, maybe 15% actually, I'm gonna really enjoy it. At the beginning, I didn't love it because there was like, ironic considering it's like my job now, but there's like references to social media, and the girl in it, Skylar, she like stops in front of a bear, like a wild bear, obviously it's all set in Canada, to like live stream, like to take a selfie with the bear, and it gave me the ick so hard. And I just thought to myself, like, I hope that's not me. In my head, I was like, oh, social media has no place in my cowboy romance locations, but that's just so hypocritical because living out a cowboy romance is kind of a dream. And I just don't think I'd be welcome there, you know? I don't think I'd be welcome in those cowboy circles. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it so far. There's like a sassy parrot who is like kind of bitchy and rude, who I'm really loving so far. West, who's the male main character, is giving such good vibes. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to reading more of this, but the book that's been getting most of my attention, which I'm enjoying so much and wasn't even on my TBR, hasn't even been anywhere, but I wanted to read this for, again, months and months, since after I finished Sarah J Maas, that entire 15-book thing, I looked up like what books to read next, and this was one of the options. And I actually can't remember her channel name, which is terrible of me. Is it Clockwork Reader? That's it. If you like bookish things and you don't follow a Clockwork Reader, Hannah is so like discerning. It's probably the best word. I don't know what other word to use to describe how she rates and reviews videos. Like she is, you know, fully thinks that Fourth Wing's terrible, ACOTAR's terrible. She thinks Throne of Glass is okay. Anyway, go watch her reviews. But she, in my opinion, because she's like so strict about what's a good book and what's not a good book, I feel like if she says a book is good, it probably is genuinely so good. Because in my head, if I like the slightly trash books, then surely the great books are just gonna blow my mind. Anyway, I remember watching one of her videos months ago where she basically said something like, if you think you like ACOTAR, it's rubbish. Read this book instead. And I loved ACOTAR, but I am now reading this book and I'm also loving this one, and it is Spark of the Everflame, which is book 1 of the Kindred Cursed saga by Penn. That's so annoying, the Audible sticker is over the top of the name of the author. Is it Penn Cole, I think? Yeah, Penn Cole. This is what the cover looks like. I've got 7 hours left of the 12-hour book. I listen to all of my Audible books on speed 1.2. And it's so fantastic so far. It feels like we're slowly getting elements of the plot. I'm really loving the Audible production of it. I don't know anything about it because I don't have the book, so I haven't even read the blurb. I literally just remember a Clockwork Reader saying that it was good, so I'm listening to it. And I was really in the mood for a fantasy, like a proper fantasy, as opposed to something spooky and like the contemporary romance thing. Like I said, I've just been reading so much of that lately. I'm definitely enjoying it, but this is just more of a, I'm picking it up when I want something light and fluffy, like instead of watching an episode of Schitt's Creek or New Girl or Friends or something in the evening, like my comfort TV, I'm picking up this, and this is like a comfort book. Anyway, highly recommend Spark of the Everflame. I'm loving all the character development. It's not reminding me of any other fantasy, which is so good. It is giving me like Throne of Glass vibes a little bit, I guess, in the sense that I am imagining that the plot for this is going to be next level. I'm obviously very early into book 1. I don't know how many books there are. Maybe I'll just Google that now, actually. Kindred Cursed. Ooh, Kindred Cursed Saga Book 4 release date is a trending... Oh, okay. Book 4 was released in the summer of 2024. Okay, so we know that there's at least 4 books because it says that the 4th one just came out this summer. I didn't do a lot of reading to get the accuracy of that, but there's definitely at least 4 books. I think this is going to be a proper fire plot. Like, it's giving that kind of Throne of Glassy world building, but the plot is not reminding me of anything. It's just the feeling. So loving that. Feel like I can already recommend it before I've finished it. Anyway, right now it's Monday afternoon and I want to bake some cookies. I don't feel like I've done enough like autumnal fall baking and I'm craving some cookies. I've got a lot of laptop work to do this afternoon, as I have been doing all day, and I'm taking a break because I want a sweet treat to enjoy with my afternoon cup of tea. So my go-to for recipes is always the Deliciously Ella app, and I'm thinking I'm going to make these dark chocolate and orange cookies because I have a lot of oranges I need to use up, and chocolate orange is just such a nice combo, isn't it? My only debate is that normally all of Deliciously Ella's recipes have like 5-star, and if you can see there, this one's like 4 out of 5. I mean, it's only got 12 reviews, but I don't know whether 4 out of 5 means that they're not going to be great, but I'm going to trust the process and make these. I'll pop the recipe in the description box, but I also just really recommend checking out the Deliciously Ella app because it is great. Anyway, I'm gonna make these. All of her recipes are vegan. I don't know if I have sunflower oil. I might just have to use butter instead. But sometimes when I swap out ingredients, things go slightly wrong. Anyway, so I'm going to put my headphones back on. I'm gonna keep listening to Spark of the Everflame and make some autumnal cookies. And I think that's pretty much the definition of like a book-ish afternoon. And I love it. So, time to bake some cookies. These look so good. Oh my gosh, they smell incredible as well already. Right, let's get them in here. Is anyone else's oven clock just never right? Like it is not 10:05? And the best thing about cookies is that they always only go in for 10 minutes. So I get to eat a cookie in like 15 minutes tops, right? Look at these. I actually was just filming them for a reel as well because they came out so good. And I've already demolished one, but these are some of the best cookies I've ever made. Like, they're literally flawless. They're just perfect. Chocolate orange, chocolate chunk cookies, and I've just sprinkled them with a bit of icing sugar as well. They're amazing. I can't believe they went like a full 5 stars. To be fair, I actually used completely different ingredients, so I'll write out the recipe that I used because the recipe they had was like spelt flour and coconut sugar, and anyway, I didn't have any of those things. So these are amazing. Highly recommend. Cookies are also just the quickest, easiest thing to make. Like 15 minutes all in and you're done. These are so good. Anyway, I am now going to take one of these cookies, sit on the sofa, probably read some Ninth House I feel like I'm in the mood for, just to mix it up while I'm doing this crazy switching between books. Cheers. Chocolate orange cookies. Oh, delicious. Like the outside is crispy, the inside is so soft. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but all of my healthy eating habits have just gone. They've just vanished. Today is a indulgent luxury day, apparently. Look what I've made for dinner before I sit down for an evening of book journaling. A classic, and it's so good. That's right, I made mac and cheese. It's just come out the oven, so it's so hot. Well, it came out about 2 minutes ago, so the bubbling has stopped, but I can guarantee it's still gonna be red hot in there. This is just how I like it. A bit of the cheese isn't too browned in the middle, with some very crispy bits in a couple of places. I always make my mac and cheese just like the classic way: flour, butter, and milk to make like the bechamel, a strong like mature cheddar, a teaspoon, maybe like half a teaspoon actually, of English mustard, a bit of salt, bit of pepper. That's it, bish bash bosh. Delicious. Anyway, so I'm gonna serve myself up some of this. Oh, look at that cheese like oozing through the rigatoni, or it's not even rigatoni, it's not proper macaroni. You can see it's like a little pasta shape that's like this. So it's kind of almost like a rigatoni, but it's not quite as big as a rigatoni. I can't remember what that pasta shape is called. Anyway, I'm gonna serve up some of this and I'm gonna get book journaling, and maybe I'll even have a cookie for dessert. Well, no, I've had one cookie today. I'm gonna save my cookie for future days, but time for dinner.
Spot. I took Henry's hand and gave it a quick squeeze, shaking those memories away.
So good. Book journal updates are officially finished. I've resisted having another cookie, even though I feel like I could have all 10, but after mac and cheese, I'm just restraining myself. Otherwise, I'll just feel too sluggish. Sometimes if I do have too much like fat and sugar, it does, I mean, I know that's what all the science says anyway, but it does really affect how I feel, which I suppose is the whole point of healthy eating really. Anyway, this is so not bookish related, but I try to minimize the amount of unhealthy foods I have right before bed, just because otherwise I find I don't sleep as well if I eat like just loads of rubbish right before I go to sleep. I'm actually trying out this new 3-2-1 rule, which I can't even remember where I saw it, so I can't credit the creator that I saw talking about it online. If you know somebody who you think came up with it, let me know. But wherever it came from, I basically saw something that said, I'm gonna get it wrong now, 3 hours before bed, no food 3 hours before bed, I think this is the right way around. Okay, I now don't even know if I know the right way around that it's supposed to go. But this is what I'm doing, so I might have even just made up my own thing now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, what I'm currently doing is 3 hours before bed, no food. So no food 3 hours before bed. It does mean I have to shift my dinner a little bit earlier than I normally would. So I'm now eating at more like 6:15, 6:30. I don't go to sleep until like 10, 10:30. So if by the time I've finished having dinner at 7, then I know I'm a good 3 hours before. And that's because your body needs to have time to digest your food, to give you the best possible night's sleep. And then 2 hours before bed, no screens, no phone. The only screen that is the exception to that rule is my Kindle screen, which at the moment I'm actually not reading anything on my Kindle, so it's fine for now. But if I was reading a book on my Kindle, whatever, like I'm gonna read my Kindle. But no screens 2 hours before bed when you're into books is just the easiest thing in the whole wide world. Like I just forget that my phone exists and I pick up a book and it's a dream, to be honest. It just gives me dedicated reading time 2 hours before bed. The only thing that is really hard, which I remember when Cameron and I didn't used to live together, I think I mentioned this in one of my evening routine videos then, and in my morning routine ones as well. But when you're long distance from your like significant other, like your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is that you're dating, it's really hard to do no phones, I find, because we like to text each other like right before we go to sleep. Like when he is working around the country, which is what he does most of the time during the week, he usually leaves on a Monday and comes back on a Thursday. So he's away for a few nights of the week, almost every single week, I'd say. Every now and again we get a week, maybe 1 week a month he's around for the whole week, ish, maybe not. But then like I do really want to text him right before I go to sleep, so I do want to text him at 10 o'clock. And same thing in the morning, like all the morning routines, so you don't go on your phone straight away, where it's like I want to pick up my phone and text him good morning straight away. So I do still do that a little bit. I think it's fair to say I'm not completely phone free, but definitely no scrolling and no like consumption of social media 2 hours before bed. And to be honest, Cameron knows how much I read, so he'll usually text me, and he goes to bed a bit earlier than I do because he gets up earlier. So he'll normally text me like 9:15 being like, happy reading, like good night. And then I'll check my phone at like 10. So we don't actually get a proper chat. But anyway, oh my gosh, I'm rambling. 3 hours before bed, no food. 2 hours before bed, no screens. And then 1 hour before bed, no liquids. That one is changing the game for me because I wake up in the middle of the night to go pee every night, like probably more than once. And I think that's because I drink my mint tea right before I go to sleep and I chug a load of water right before I go to sleep. Mostly because I forget to drink all the water and all the liquids I need to during the day, and then right before I go to sleep, I end up drinking loads anyway, and it means I'm just up all night because I need to pee. So I'm now trying to have my mint tea downstairs on the sofa whilst I do some of my reading, like a few hours before bed, and actually go up to bed without a mint tea, which for those that have been around for a while and seen just any of my videos, know that that's like probably one of the most monumental lifestyle shifts that I've ever experienced. Changing when I have my mint tea, and it's shifting my brain from being like, it's not go to sleep time, this is just unwind time. It's a wild shift, okay? It's a wild shift because to me the tea signals sleep. So anyway, I just really loved that 3-2-1 method. So if you also like the sound of it, give it a go. But that is what I'm trying at the moment. Anyway, it's now reading time. I am in the mood for some wild eyes. I want to swoon over a man whilst my real life fiance is sadly not here and is also unavailable to talk to me. So I'm going to swoon over a fictional man instead. I'm loving Spark of the Everflame. It's so good. Just giving me all of those cozy fantasy vibes of when you do really get lost in a good story. Like it's giving me Throne of Glass. It's giving me Harry Potter. And if you listen to it or read it, you'll be like, Ellen, it is literally nothing like Harry Potter. And it's not, but you know, just that lovely fantasy vibe where there's just magic and a really good story. Anyway, I'm just really enjoying listening to it throughout the day. So I think I've got 4 hours left of that. So I've really barreled through that. I literally started it yesterday, I think, literally. So I'm flying through that. I'll probably finish that tomorrow, or definitely finish it tomorrow. But for now, a little bit of Wild Eyes.